And then if the demand is not sustainable, it crashes. And what I want you to pay more attention to this is the trend around e-commerce growth or media until 26 and 27. They're relatively flat, right? What does that mean? That means, I think all of you have heard about a global recession. It means that it will take the economy a significant amount of time to recover. And the recovery is a cycle of close to 5 to 10 years, right? That's when you get back on that high growth. If you look at the dot-com bubble in 1998, right? And then look at after it had crashed and started recovering, 1998 all the way to 2005, to get back on the same trend, right, was a good 7 to 8 years of development. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually understanding the environment that you are in as you're navigating the digital space. For businesses that have been looking for investment or businesses that feel that the growth and the uptake hasn't been that high, a lot of the growth is because it's driven by a consumer on the other end. Now, I want to shift the conversation to managing on the downside of a market, right? So where you see this slump here, this is probably where most businesses are trying to grow their business. They had traction, they had invested in teams and infrastructure. The cost is not so sustainable for individuals. You know, you went into the market initially like Uber drivers who started out with the cabs, you were making 200K, 300K, 400K. When the market started to settle, you know, the average revenue for an Uber driver is probably 60 to 70,000 a month, right? So you're now dealing with the shocks of moving from 400K in revenue all the way down to 70K. And you're like, how do I begin to build my business, or how do I begin to survive in an economy that's changing? And this is pure data. You can spend a bit more time analyzing it to get better insights that may be more customized for you. Now, there are two things. On the down market, you need to focus on understanding something called the minimal viable market. And this is pure economics. This is where businesses should start. When there's speculation, there's an overinvestment and an overexcitement in technology and what technology can bring. And when we put in more capital and we start to get less returns, we're not agile enough to create the results that are required in order for you to move forward. So I started to say, how do I begin to bring some pointed solutions to businesses? And remember, the rule is bad ideas must die. So there's some things that are not going to be practical, right? Just based on where the economy is going. The digital space gives a ton of opportunity, but businesses may need to reconfigure how they work in order to survive based on the macro data available. But if we're to come to solutions, there's a gentleman called Seth Godin. He's a strong marketing thought leader. And he talks about this idea of finding a small group of customers who care and believe what you believe and are in need of the product that you have. And the smallest viable market are the individuals that, become a tribe and then begin to create a language that is very organic, a culture that's very organic, that starts to invite people like them. So a lot of the strong cultures, a lot of the strong products that you see, they're really driven by a certain peculiar interest that customers may have in something, where it is about the value they gain for the right audience, and then they start to bring people in. when I was discussing with my team, I mean, some global examples of a minimal viable market is maybe the common Airbnb startup story, right? So the US has large events. The events take place. There are a couple of people in a dorm room setup. Within a short amount of time, there's not enough space to occupy the people who are coming in for these Super Bowl events. And then they start to pretty much rent out air mattresses. So they move from the idea that the idea of space was the biggest need. It wasn't the complexity of technology. It wasn't the complexity of the beauty of the space. It really started with the idea that if we have a core customer coming into the city and the thing that they need is just a place for them to rest, take a shower, eat some food, and go to the event, that's the actual, the smallest viable market. It starts with an audience and a product that makes sense. And because this was a need, every single time these events would take place, the same customers would want a better experience. And then they scaled it to what Airbnb is today. In the local context, we were discussing some local case studies. And family-owned businesses in this market are also great examples. A current example, I think, with over 20 years of tenure, we sort of see the Naivas started with one. They have multiple locations. A great example was Tuskys as well. They found a place in the market. They were getting product, downstream product from Nakumat, and then they found a customer. They found a good positioning, between a stage and the store, and then customers really loved the convenience, and then they replicated that model and had challenges with management later on. But the idea of the smallest viable market is really trying to get viability at the smallest level, and then scaling upwards. If your business was built, or if your opportunities were built on the growth side, on the downside, your biggest challenge is, do you know where your viable market is? And without knowing your viable market, there's no way to begin to increase revenues or increase opportunities for yourself. I think we're getting to the last slide. Okay, so from a solution standpoint, in business, they're called adjacencies. And adjacencies are basically opportunities around yourself that you need to begin to consider. And the core is that you need to rethink your strategy. So path one is to look across around alternative industries. In economics, you have to think about it this way. Money flows, upwards going down, right? So there are places in the economy where a lot of results are being created currently, right? And that's where the money is flowing. A good example is there's quite a bit of movement around climate because, His Excellency is really pushing the climate agenda. So there will be a ton of resources available. So that value chain is essentially performing. If you think about ICT, the same way. Safaricom, one of the biggest buyers in the market, they build very large buckets, and they're investing in infrastructure connectivity. And if you're within the digital economy, within their industry, there's money flowing in that particular value chain. The second path is to look for what we call strategic groups. And strategic groups are different areas within the market where you can begin to provide your service, right? So if you started out, maybe using a basic example, you started out transcribing, and there's no demand in transcribing. Can you move to doing field evaluations and data collection, right? You have a writing skill, so you now need to find which other groups would be interested in the skill, right? And the data collection in the donor world doesn't have the same economic cycle as maybe the general business cycle. So you may find donor projects are paying more and they're giving you value, and you need to identify groups. Path 3, of course, is to look across the buyers and redefine the actual groups. Instead of thinking about how you've been operating, you have to think about how else can you add value. Take your knowledge, take your technology and the infrastructure, and see how you can add value to other buyer groups. The 4th path, of course, is to look at complementary services. That's a bit closer to home. So you start to say, if we have an e-commerce business and it's been doing well, do we backward integrate into a mobile app? And in doing so, we increase user transaction or user engagement in a more meaningful way for your organization. And then the last one is maybe thinking about pivoting from a functional service to an emotional service. Now, the example that I can think of here is iPhone. So iPhone doesn't really compete on functionality, and that's why you never see them in their adverts, focus on specifications. They know that their users think of their product as a status card or a badge of honor in that regard. And so thinking about shifting the orientation of your current offering begins to create new value in a meaningful way. And I think the last one is participating in really shaping trends over time. Now, trends generally take a long time to come to their fullest manifestation. And as a person in the digital economy, you have to stay invested, right? And you have to continue to adjust as the trends evolve. Now, finding your niche, in summary, is about finding the smallest viable market. Go back to real business basics. Then number 2, if your business is sizable, you're thinking how to navigate, you need to look for adjacencies as you build a long-term strategy that allows you to really bounce back. The digital economy has so much promise, but it requires that we don't, invest in it as naively as most investors did with the dot-com bubbles in the early 90s. It really requires a steady hand. It really requires that we spend a lot more time reflecting and actually saying, what are some of the macro drivers of the opportunities we're chasing? And when you begin to plug into them in a meaningful way, you see some incredible results. Party shot is think about Instagram. So Instagram is a content application that sits at the intersection of 2 S curves, right? The shorter one is social media desktop. The taller one is social media mobile, right? Social media mobile is actually powered by 3G technology and the cost of data. Instagram grew to $100 million valuation because it sat in between the 2 S curves that were growing drastically. So even in a down market, there's some businesses that have found the right macro dynamics, so they will still grow faster. It takes a significant amount of time and effort to really figure out what are some of those things that allow you to remain catalytic, especially when the macro trends in some areas are relatively slow or are slowing down. But there's an opportunity to go deeper, identify trends that are closer to your core environment, and then begin to ride those trends as you focus on building your business. And find your niche, but just remember, You need to build a core audience, which is your smallest viable market, and then begin to scale that on trends that are true demand for it to be sustainable. Thank you very much. Over to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Kay. Quite an insightful presentation. And maybe even before you leave, are there any burning questions before we move to the next presenter? If you do have a burning question, you can raise your hand. I can take one. Okay, I can't see any, but that's okay. We'll still have a Q&A session towards the end. So at this point, I'd like to invite the next presenter. That will be Mutembe to do a short presentation on Fastaga. Hi, Mutembe.
Yeah, just getting my screen.
Yeah.
Thanks so much to the previous speaker as well. It was a great presentation. I really enjoyed it. And many thanks to Ajira and KEPSA platform. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mutembe Kariuki. I'm co-founder and CEO of a startup called Fastaga. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. So my name is Mutembe Kariuki, co-founder, CEO of Fastaga. We have actually been working with Ajira for a number of years. We've actually were able to engage with Ajira and work with about 100 young people from the Ajira program to work with us on our AI journey. So we started in 2019, and we have been mostly focused on how can we engage with building AI applications for the African continent. I'm sure all of you have been, working with ChatGPT in the last year or so. We started back in 2019, really focusing on how can we build these tools for more functionality on the African continent. Because right now, if you ask it, it'll give you very generic questions. So right now, as Fastaga, we're using AI to help SMEs scale. Just a short preview of our team. So there's myself, my co-founders, very strong backgrounds in machine learning, AI, data analytics, from international companies as well as, local organizations. I myself have a background from working at the German Development Corporation, a background in information systems from Japan. My CTO has a background from the MIT Media Lab, worked at Harvard, on data, and also has a PhD in AI from Georgia Tech. And my other co-founder, she's really strong in analytics, having worked at Klarna in Sweden and also here in Kenya, and has her master's from IE in Spain on big data and analytics. And so our main focus is really to power small and medium enterprises on the African continent. If you think about it, you have a lot of companies such as Mandevu who sell on social commerce, different goods, and increasingly, we're seeing everybody is being able to generate quite a lot of data. And what can be done with this data? We can be able to work on this data, automate customer engagement, and really get deep analytics about customers. Right now, I think we are all inundated by a lot of messaging which is coming to our phones, which is not really, personalized for us. You're just being bombarded, by entities which you've been engaging with, but they're not really taking time to understand you and your habits and really understanding where they usually come 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. And as businesses, we need to be able to understand that, people don't want to be bombarded, but how do we get a platform that can actually help us and understand our customers and engage with them properly? And that's where AI comes in and Fastaga. So we built a platform that provides data and loyalty management for small and medium enterprises. So think of it as if we are taking whatever Amazon has, where it's, they pay, data analysts and machine learning engineers, $200,000, $500,000 a year to build these platforms, and how can we scale it down to be used by small businesses? So our platform will enable you to understand your customers, to be able to reduce expenses, to be able to upsell products, retain those customers, and ultimately what businesses want is to increase sales. And we know, empirically, it's easier to keep a customer than it is to start, going looking for a new customer. So how do we really understand who our top customers are, how much value they have for us, and then how we can now, reward them and keep them, and also be able to understand what it is and anticipate what they want next, and not bombard them with like messages like every day, but really tailored to understanding. If I'm a barber and someone comes every week, I shouldn't be sending them a message every day. I should be thanking them when they come, and then towards, let's say they usually come after every 3 weeks, or in a salon, someone usually comes every 2 months for their nails, or every month for their nails. Only when they're about to come is when you offer the discount and you remind them to come, or if that person has left. And how do we automate all this so that we don't always have to be thinking about this? And that's where FastTagger comes in. We have strong partners. Particularly, we have investment from a Swiss investor called CVVC. We have a strong engagement with Kepsa and Ajira. We are part of the NVIDIA Inception program. NVIDIA is one of the largest AI companies globally. And also we won the Falling Walls award in 2020 on democratizing artificial intelligence. That's based in Berlin, Germany. And so our business model is simple. We charge businesses between 700 shillings and 7,000 shillings a month, depending on the size of the business, for our customer intelligence. And then we're able to now have coupon creation and discounts, and we take 1% of that value. And we help you discover also customers eventually from your data. And we use generative AI to personalize the messaging that is sent out to the businesses. So you don't have to think about a lot of things. We automate a lot of the processes. So that's the first presentation. And I'm just going to quickly show you a small example of what the report would look like. So if you can all see my screen. So for example, as I mentioned, this is usually, as I mentioned, FastTagger, we're using artificial intelligence to help businesses increase sales, customer retention, and optimize business processes for expansion. I'll even give you the story of our testimonial here. Peter, Master Stylist, is one of the businesses we've engaged with. And so this is an example of, the report that we create. So we're able to automatically create such a report for the businesses. I know this is a lot of graphs, a lot of numbers, but essentially we are able to show every business the number of customers they have, how often those customers visit. We can go deeper into this and even understand what days this person is usually visiting. What it is, we add your product and what product the person is taking. And we're able to tell you what is the value of each one of these customers to you. And then we're also able to help you now customize the kind of offers and re-engagement you have with them. So if you look at the right side, you see this is the kind of personalized messaging that you can create on our platform, where you send that person actually with their name and you thank them and you give discount, and it has an expiry date, and then it reminds them towards that expiry date. And then you can also upsell that person from the data. That person bought shoes from you, like let's say this is Mark Kamau, they bought a shoe from you, and then you're able to upsell for them socks, and you can give them a discount for those socks when they come and buy them. All this from really understanding the data about your customer. You can now understand month on month, are you actually growing in number of customers? Daily, in the hours of the day, when is the most traffic, when are you making the most revenue, when are you making the least? Then you can come up with strategies. We can help you come up with strategies on how to improve those times, or you can actually just, focus everything on the times which are highest traffic. You can even focus on the days, and then you start understanding month on month, whether you're growing in terms of customers. we were able to, help one organization, a small business, a barber, by creating this report, they were actually able to present it to an investor, and, they're willing to now invest in opening a new shop for a new barbershop and salon for that particular entrepreneur. And so this is what we do as Fastaga. Businesses, and so yeah, I know we just want access to our platform. So I'll just share it, or I'm willing to answer any.
Thanks, Mutembe. I don't know whether from the participants there's any question that we can ask. Yes, there's one hand that has been raised. Let me just see who it is. Oh, Juspa. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, but yeah, you can ask.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. It's actually Jasper. And this is quite an insightful platform. Thank you, Mutembe, for your presentation. Kai's presentation was equally insightful. I just have a couple of questions for you, Mutembe. Being that you have a product that is actually a very good product for SMEs. And my question would be, what do you need from an SME for you to be able to onboard them into your system and into your platform? And from the pricing that you share, what informs how you are going to price, say, an SME? What's the difference between what do I get when I pay 700? What do I get when I pay 7,000? And then what are the steps? What are the steps do I need to know for me to be able to engage? Where do I start? Do I need to be a business that has been running for, say, a certain time, a period, say 5 years, 1 year, or should I be a business, or if I am a business, say, for example, that I'm looking to start, am I able to engage with you for me to be able to get your services and just partner with you? Thank you.
Okay, I think we'll take also Elizabeth's question, and then we'll still have a Q&A session after this. So Elizabeth, go ahead, and then Mutembe will respond to both.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Mutembe, I wanted to ask, for a retail business, do you connect to the point of sale system to get this data? We've been trying to mine data, and I'm so glad. I've never heard of your company. So I just wanted to know whether you're able to connect to the point of sale system and how you go about it.
Okay. So Rachel, shall I start answering now? And Elizabeth for those questions. And so I can just give you the, from the beginning, the way we engage with the businesses is, first of all, we know that one size doesn't fit all. For businesses, people have different systems where they collect their data. The most important thing with the AI is always data. So one thing is like, and we are, just to make sure that everybody knows that. So we already have like data controller and data processor certification from the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. So that we take, data protection very seriously. So one is, even to answer both Jasper and Elizabeth's question, one is we engage with the business to be able to optimize their data. So one is we're building an application that you can sit on the phone that has your or on your POS system. So we can connect directly to your POS system and get that data, or we can also engage with you on sharing that data, whether, because some people have POSs which cannot share data through the web, and others are on-premise. So we have conversations with you on how we can access that data and process it for you. So the 700 to 7,000 range, 700 is purely for that simple report that I showed you. Then from there, now additional things such as messaging, additional things such as being able to see things daily, then the price goes up. And it also is based on like how many customers you actually have. So you could be a business which has like, 100,000 customers. And now that's when we start going to enterprise level, expenses. But I'd say 7,000 is now you having a web application that you can have remotely, and also having an app that you can be able to install on different whether it's on premise or on a phone, and you can be able to analyze the data. So that's different ranges, but I'm happy to have conversations. The link I've actually sent is actually asking basic questions about, whether you're having an Android phone, whether you're having the sources of data, particularly if it's M-Pesa, that's the easiest to work with. And then we can also connect to your POS. And then how to start, simply reach out to us. We put you on the list for early access to the app. Already we can start with working with you by getting some of your POS data or some of your statements, whether it's from that's how we start working with you. So I hope I've answered Jasper's questions, and I hope I've answered Rachel's. I would encourage you to fill the survey that I've shared. That will actually help us prioritize and start engaging with you, and get your contacts. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you, Mutembe. I think I see Elizabeth's hand still raised, but I also saw a question on the chat, which maybe you can also be responsive so that you can move speaker. I believe the question was from directed to you.
Tony, definitely. I think that's a really good business and that we can definitely engage with. So please, just fill the survey form that I've sent, and we can already start engaging, because I see that we would love to, which is exactly kind of business that we'd love to work with, because you have repeat customers, you want to know how to keep on engaging them. I see Agarwal, Ashutosh. I think you're on mute, maybe.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm a new entrant to this seminar first time. I could not listen from the start, but just a quick question, like we use, I'm from India, from a company Tesca, and we are a small and medium enterprise, and we are using the sales CRM in our system. So that also gives us similar kind of insights, what I saw in your profile, the bar graphs, the reports, like which customer is giving us customers, how many times people have been quoted, and who's the prime customers. So how come is your system different from that? And is it user-friendly as compared to the existing sales CRM, like Sales Babu is there and Salesforce is there, or SAP Business One? So how do you differentiate between the two?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, Agarwal. Actually, I spent a whole year living in India a couple of years ago, so I love what happens there. So one of the biggest differences that we've seen with what we're doing and with other platforms is that we automate the whole process. So you don't have to keep on going into the system and understand and figuring out, okay, who's that customer based on the report, and then now starting to reach out to them. We do our best to automate everything and the decision making, and eventually now at the end of the month also being able to tell you, oh, we were able to increase your customer by 10%, we were able to increase your revenue by 20%, because we know businesses are very busy and you don't want to start becoming a business analyst and a data analyst. You want to focus on your business. Tony wants to sell his water, someone else wants to continue doing their business. That's your core work. We want to be like your co-pilot, your AI co-pilot for your business, rather than you having now to go into the system and start looking at those numbers again. We want to automate the whole process. We want to give your customer that experience and you that experience that, everything is seamless. And at the end of the day, we're like, okay, this is how your business has grown. This is how you've increased your sales. This is how you've increased your customers. And this is how you've reduced the churn rate of your customers. That's the biggest differentiator.
Okay, I think let's stop there for now. Thank you, Mutembe, for
Rachel. Always a pleasure.
Presentation. Okay, we can move to the next speaker from Wowzy. Judith, I hope you're ready, and welcome.
Thank you, Rachel. Good morning, everyone. This is Judith, Sales and Outreach Lead at Wowzy. Give me a second just to pull up the presentation. So we're going to break down the presentation into two, where I'll just introduce all of the capabilities, and then I'll hand it over to Eddie Adina, who's going to show us exactly how the platform runs. Rachel, if you're able to give him presentation access.
Yeah, I see you already able to share. It's okay. We can see your presentation.
My screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Great. So just to start off, Wowzy is an influencer platform. So it's an end-to-end influencer marketing platform where we have two sides to it. So we have an app. So that is how the creators get connected to advertisers. So before I delve deep into the platform capabilities, would want to ask the power of influencer marketing, especially now in the digital space. And we see, so from previous data, we've seen influencer marketing. So a lot of brands are moving into influencer space compared to digital marketing. So key questions to ask yourself if your brand or product is a fit for influencer marketing would be things like, do I have an influenceable product? So from historical data, we've seen industries in, say, FMCG, the service on beauty and beauty service industry, beauty product and also service industry do well with within the influencer space. Another one is e-commerce and anything that is related to humans. So something that's be interacted on a daily basis with people. So those are the platforms that really work well. And the advantages of influencer marketing compared to digital marketing would be you're able to run your campaign, it's the targeting audience. So say if it's a diaper brand, you're able to target to reach those. You're able to run with an influencer who has a commanding voice within that particular space. So another one is the ability to have a user-generated content. So the influencers are going to interact with your product. From that product interaction, then you're able to get real-time product feedback in case there are questions. So people are able to interact with your product on a one-to-one basis compared to, say, if it's just a digital ad or interaction. So those are the two strongholds of influencer marketing compared to traditional marketing. So as I go now to the platform, so we are built. So think of the platform as your Uber for influencing. So we have an end-to-end platform where I've mentioned the influencers. So how they're embodied is through an app, and we have store and app store. So while they're being integrated, where they're joining the platform, they give us key data as the demographic, location, what type of influencers, are they family, are they lifestyle? So that way you're able to be automatically connected to the right fit. So it is going to show us how this works. So the 4 key capabilities of the platform is being able to connect you to your right target audience by matching you with the right influencer discovery tool. So filter according to demographic, compare and select creators who fit your needs. So yes, you can find people in the lifestyle, but who actually fits. So you also have that ability. Another one is intelligent yet painless campaign setup. For those who have integrated with influencer marketing before, we know the manual processes that goes into it, the headache, the negotiation. So through the platform, we're able to take all that from you. So we're going to give you the best, we're able to come up with the best strategy depending on your brand, smart and customized contracting in the event where you have a sensitive product and you want the contracting bit, all that is done through the platform. So we also have automated campaign. So be confident with your creators because the brief is going to run through the platform. Even before the creators get to the campaign, we have a human interaction where we have a brand immersion. So get to walk them through the platform. And also here I provide you an avenue to connect to the creators. So we always the product through the brand itself and the campaign ideas, and also have a session of a Q&A session within the creators just to clarify anything that may arise as the campaign flights. So manage compliance requirements for campaigns. So this includes are they the right fit, and also things like tax, because now the creators have been taxed. So all those is being handled on our end. So there's also live campaign tracking and advanced reporting. The reporting bit is also being handled on our end. It is going to show you this on how that looks. So that's an overview of what Waldi does. So it is going to showcase to you how the platform runs, just in detail. Eddie, hope you're ready.
Yes, thank you, Judith, and thank you for the last three presenters. I think arrangement of this meeting was kind of intentionally made to trickle down to what I'm going to present to you today. So I'm going to quickly share my screen to the rest of the people on the call.
We can see your screen, Eddie. You can go ahead.
You guys hear my audio? I've been speaking and I don't think I'm getting responses from your end.
We only saw your screen, but your audio.
Hi, Eddie, we can hear you.
Enables you to interact with creators and find the best creator, the best fills your needs. So to take you through what Wowzy offers you as an SME and how you can impact creators and customer that you want to impact with a global setting, and after the pandemic, there was a huge shift from how we market and how we interact with customers that consume our products. And Wowzy has been running influencer campaigns for the last 3 years with a global understanding, and especially in the African continent, on what are the best practices as an enterprise company, as an SME, as a small business. How do you leverage and impact creators to be in the doorsteps and in the screens of the people that you try to sell to, or the people you try to consume your goods? So Wowzy offers you a quick campaign creation in 4 clear steps. The first step, you get to define what campaign. So today's campaign, I'm going to call it Wowzy SME Secondary Village Creators. We are across multiple African countries where you're able to expand your business with Wowzy to impact creators and introduce yourself as an SME in new markets easily by interacting with thought process leaders and creators and celebrities that people engage with at a very personal level. So once you define your campaign, you can run social media campaigns across 5 different social platforms, from Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn. Wowzy also offers you 3 aspects of picking creators. So you can self-pick creators, where this means you use an array of to find the perfect creators and select them on yourself. You can also use auto selection, where you come and tell the platform, I want this type of creators in terms of their gender, the following, the type of audiences, and let the system pick out for you. Or Wowzy, through your account manager, can custom create curated group of Muslim influencers in Mogadishu. How niche do you want to impact creators with the campaign that you're trying to create on social media? The next step on your Wowzy creation is discovery. And this is basically where I have decided I'm going to self-select creators. And in this instance, I use an array of filters to define what type of creator do I want, what should be their age group, what should be their gender mixage, what should be their country and the city, what should they be exactly located. I can also filter them according to their occupation, their interest, the type of content that they have on their social media, and kind of see and compare between different profiles and different influencer views and different influencer profiles, and kind of understand who is this influencer I'm trying to impact. Do they have the right following? Are their audience spread out? As much as you also try to understand the creator you're trying to impact, it's also very important to understand the audience you're trying to reach to, because that is exactly who you're trying to move forward to your product. So is this influencer mostly followed by female, or what is the age distribution of their followers? And you can also use Wowzy to compare creators between other creators, where I'm trying to understand between Melissa and Hospital, who offers the best impact to who I'm trying to reach. So on the second step at Wowzy, once you've already discovered who exactly you want in and to, then proceed to defining your campaign brief. And here you're technically describing to to a creator how to talk about your product on social media. So Wowzy, in this sense, is a sort of influencer hailing platform, where you're coming to Wowzy and understanding, I want to reach this sort of audience. And we have a team that helps you understand how to best reach this type of audience. And then once you understand that, you're able to create a cab order that enables you to impact that creator and reach out to the audiences that you want to work with. So under brief creation, you're defining and kind of like specifying how and what tone should the creators who are participating in your campaign use. Once you've clearly defined your brief, what handles and hashtags and steps that the creators should use to create content around your product, around your business, around the message you're trying to send to, around the impact you're trying to create. The last bit is sort of creating a calendar for your creators, where you're defining to them when should you talk about what and who should talk about what. So Wowzy offers you a flexibility and a CRM that enables you to impact African creators across all African markets. And you can run campaigns with as little as 50,000 as an SME and impact the power of nano creators, where we did a study to understand that celebrities do offer a sense of expensive influencer marketing, where we've for ages understood that influencer marketing is only an avenue that's left for enterprise type of companies. But we've also understood that nanos have a huge type of influence, where I make purchasing choices by what is influenced by my friends. And my friends are not usually typically celebrities. My friends are usually people who you went to uni with, or people you work with, your colleagues, or people you interact with on a daily. So that's how you unlock the power of nano creators, where you're able to impact a group of thousands of creators with a manageable budget, and being able to create a trackable ROI that will impact your SME as a business. And lastly, I'll quickly go through how to track your business. So at Wowzy, on this platform, we offer you the capability of interacting with a software that allows you to navigate through your campaigns, through your reports, through your influencer groups and track every campaign that you've been able to run on your platform. What I just showed you now was a campaign creation flow. And once your campaign is done and you've created and you've made payment and your campaign is going live, Wowzy does not stop and let you stop there. We have an extra step where you're able to track your live campaigns. What this means is you can track your budget consumption. You can track your creator budget and distribution. You can also track the posts that are being made under your campaign. So how many posts are made, how many posts have been quality verified, because Wowzy also goes the extra mile to make sure that the people who are communicating about you on social media are saying the correct and using the same tone that you want. Who interact with next, who was my best performer, who was the best engaging influencer, and where should I place my budget when I'm running influencer campaigns over again. And finally, once your campaign has ended, just to see the ROI and impact you get, Wowzy offers you the ability to have a detailed campaign report that breaks down statistics that are quite important while interacting with users on social media, understanding how many eyeballs did you actually get on your business. And you can also download all these reports to consume them later and understand what strategic processes should I do to employ social media marketing in my company. I think that will be pretty much it for my end, unless there are any questions about Wowzy.
Yes, I see a question. Elizabeth has her hand raised. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Rachel, for letting me ask my other questions to Wowzy. Now, Wowzy, I've reached out to you severally. A long time. I love the model, what you do. I've reached out severally. I referred also other people working to work with Wowzy, but for some reason we never get results in terms of the costing. First of all, it's not very SME friendly, and also like the follow-up in terms of how the return on investment is never clear with the use of influencers in terms of your platform. I mean, your proposal always comes out good and your value proposition always comes out good, but it never like just translates to the next step. It just never translates to the next step in terms of clarity of the return on investment, especially when using nano and micro influencers. So I just wanted to ask, like your presentation even now was really good, which is what has happened before, but it just never translates to the next step in terms of explaining the return on investment on using the influencer, or just activating in terms of the marketing that or the goal that someone is looking for. So I wanted your feedback on that. I don't know if you have a new person in business development who I can reach out to again, because two people, I've referred a second person and we still didn't get the results that we're looking for with Wowzy. But the presentation and the meetings are always really good. But just the results never really translate.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That was very accurate on the question.
Maybe Eddie, I don't know whether there's any other question, just so that we take all at once because of time. Is there another? Oh, I see is there another person whose hand is raised? Okay, I don't think there's another question. Okay, Ed, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. And it's quite clear around the concerns around understanding influencer marketing and how to attribute ROI. Well, there's different ways of approaching influencer marketing as an SME or as an enterprise company, where you understand there's two aspects to creators. One is creating an impact that's able to create a sort of interaction between yourself as a company and the audiences of the creator. So this step is where Wowzy comes in and offers you a detailed campaign report that's able to contribute and attribute the money you spend and how many people were actually around this money. And in this sense is how many people interacted. And you can also to understand there's different aspects to different types of tiers of companies, where you also want to be able to interact with a user and attribute it to actual sales and actual conversions. So that's what Wowzy is coming in as a next player. We're able to offer social commerce. I think there was one of the SMEs that specified they offer social commerce interactions, where Wowzy will enable you not just to create an adhesive conversation between yourself and the audiences you're trying to reach out to, but also enable you to go the extra mile to attribute actual conversions and actual sales through the platform, where creators will not only be people that give you great content and give you great tractions on social media, but also give you the transition leeway to enable you to directly work with and do transactions between the audiences. That's what we're calling Wowzy Affiliate, which will be a social platform that will be soon introducing market.
Thanks, Eddie. Elizabeth, I'm gonna look in my email address on the chat box. We could have a call and then we'd be able to answer your questions in detail. There's another question regarding if we can make staff or our businesses influencers as influencers. Yes, it's possible. We have a program called Staff Influencers. So we've run it with several companies, brands before. Dorsey, I'll be glad to walk you through it in detail. So I'm also so just looping in my email address on the chat, and then we can have a call in detail.
Okay, thank you, Wowzy team. I believe we can go to the final presenter for today's webinar. That's Munene from Findo. So welcome, Munene.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for this opportunity you've provided for us to share what we do. For everyone, my name is Munene Phineas. I'm the founder and the CEO of Finder. I'm excited to be here today to share about what we are doing, small businesses. And to start us off, I'll just take you, I think time has really gone. So I want to be very quick and also very precise in what you're doing. So I'll share my screen in just right now. And I'm hoping everyone can hear me. So yeah, so my name is Munene, and I represent a company by the name Finder. And for Finder, what we're doing is we are trying to help small businesses organize data and then use that data to make decisions. And as I would want you guys to go with me as I present this. So maybe if you can check, your Google and then search for Finder, you'll be able to be redirected to this website. This is our website. And Finder, what you're doing is, again, unlocking the power of data for your businesses. So what I mean by this is basically, let me take an example of a restaurant, anyone running a business in the hospitality industry. So you have a restaurant, you have customers, you have an inventory, you have employees, you have all these people. And what you want to do is, first, number one is you want to look at your inventory. You want to make sure that the number of, the items, or rather the products you bring in, and then the products, or rather the raw materials you spend, are optimal. So in this case, you're trying to avoid losses, you're trying to not have dead stock and all this. So with us, we've built a technology, a solution to help you in that, and that is Lisa. We are calling it Lisa. So Lisa basically takes in your data and helps you do the following things. So number one is optimization of your inventory so that you always have enough stock, but not excess. So that is a very precise way of, approach of doing business. And then number two, what we're trying to help you to do is, I believe, like Elizabeth, you mentioned you have a POS. I believe you have the data of your customers. So the number two thing you want to do is, Elizabeth, I believe, is marketing. And that is, in our case, prospecting. So you want to look for your customers, but you want to be very careful in spending your resources so that if you get a particular customer, then that customer is actually the customer that is fit for your products. But you see, traditionally, you can't do that. But with the data you have, you've built a profile of your customer that you somehow can tell what someone who might consume next. So with this, with Lisa, you build that customer profile, and then you can actually predict what they might consume, and when they actually do it. Because some of us, we have patterns. We shop like twice in a month. That's the time we go to supermarkets. Maybe I eat in a restaurant thrice in a week. So these are all patterns that you can discover in your data. So you build the profile of your customer, and then you can prospect. So when you send someone an email, when you send someone a message, or rather a text on WhatsApp or anywhere, then that message is properly tailored for their needs. So, and then I want to make this clear. With Lisa, there is no manual work. So what you need is will do all this texting, prospecting, optimizing of your inventory. It will tell you the number of items you need to buy for a particular product and all that. So then number three is you want to also predict your demand. So for example, you have products, different products in your business. And then what you want to understand is how is this product likely to perform in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, or even months. So with that again, with data, as long as you have your data, your sales data, you can tell clearly and very, accurately. So that's something that I've found most of our, users like predicting their demand. You can tell whether people are going to consume a particular product or not, so that when you are stocking your inventory, then you know which product to bring in your shop. Because let's say, if I'm in Kilimani and then someone is in Kiambu, we have different consumption patterns, the demands that we have. Even if it's the same product, if it's a phone, maybe people in Kiambu want an iPhone. People in Kilimani, maybe they like Samsung. So that's just an example. And then the other thing that you want to do is to have access to is intelligence, market intelligence. You want to understand what's happening in the market. So let's say I'm in the hotel business. Let me say maybe I'm in the electronics business. I want to understand what is happening in the market. Which products are gaining traction? Which products are losing traction? What are my competitors, doing that I am not doing? And then why are certain products selling? Why are other products not selling? So you need to have all this information. And of course, with Lisa, this is all you get access to. So we've been in business for the last solid 9 months. We started quite earlier. We started in 2019. That's somewhere there. We started. We've been building and iterating our product, trying to get it right. And in our journey, we figured out a few things. So number one, we've been wanting to really understand what the customer in our market needs. And the biggest, while providing an AI product, most of the businesses are not fit, or rather they are not ready. So for example, with the very first time, what we did is we built an AI model, and then we started deploying, and we realized it wasn't possible. So in that process, we've learned to incorporate the various needs for various types of businesses. And that's why I want to introduce you to the 3 ways you would access our product. So number 1, if you are a really small business, so a retail shop, you can think of a boutique along Moy Avenue. You can think of a very small electronic shop. So if you have that, what we realized is most of them, their data is not very well organized. So we decided, let's build a platform for them to organize the data. So if you're here and you know someone, running a business in that category, I think this is the product, the product that will do work for them. So we have this mobile app, helps manage inventory and sales. And then on top of, you get to access all that I mentioned before. So our AI feature, you will get it on this mobile app. Now, if you are a business, a much larger business, and you're looking to, let's say you have a POS system, like Elizabeth, I understand this. My customer similar issues. So they asked me, I already have a system that has been installed. I have everything that I need to run my business. What I'm lacking is the data aspect. Now, can your platform work with me? Yes, that's very much possible. We've worked, for you, we upload your data to our platform, or if your platform, so there are 3 options. So you either upload your data. Number 3 is you integrate the software that you're using with Lisa. And then if that's not possible, we transfer your all operations. Now that's the last option. So we transfer your all operations on Lisa. We have a POS end that we've partnered with other developers in this, so that we make sure that when we come to you, we are not limited in any way, or rather we do not limit you. So, and then, so this is the mobile application. I would want to take you guys through the web app right now. And then before I go there, I want to mention that so far, we completed our testing early this year, around March. And since then, we've been able to onboard we are now clocking 500 businesses. And what I'm liking is that people really understand and love the power of data. Now, if you see this screen on my screen, I have screen limit time so that I can be productive. Don't worry, maybe you can try one for yourself too. Anyway, yeah, so that's done. So I want to take you guys through the web application that is primarily for the analytics, and also for you to access now the AI. So I'm not going to really take you through the app completely because of time. What I want you guys to do is visit the website, that is finder.com, as you can see on my screen. And then number 2 is so I want to mention 2 things here. I said we have API that you can integrate with, and then we have the web app, and then the mobile applications. So for the people who have a POS system, this is what you do. Go to our website, you click on this get started. You'll have this form to sign up. Sign up. Now, after signing up, you'll be presented with a screen that shows you what you're supposed to pay, what you gain from the app. And then, so what you do is you take that screenshot and it number 07 68 88 minor. If you're around, you can type the number on the chat box so that they can share there, and then we'll take it from there. Because yeah, we would like to onboard you guys later. Not here. I think there is really no much time. So yes, so this is the platform. This is basically now for someone like Elizabeth. This is what we would want you to do. That is, if you have explored all the options, or rather we've explored all the options. So number 1 is you need to upload your contacts. That's for marketing. your catalog so that then we can help you with inventory optimization, and then your sales data, mostly for predicting your demand, and then connecting to WhatsApp. So we've built a chatbot on WhatsApp that your customers can interact with to make orders from your shop directly and pay via WhatsApp. And then, of course, there is the app for Android. This is the app that I've just shown you guys right now. And if you're wondering how much this would cost, for someone like a shop on Moy Avenue, these are the costs. Very, very, very affordable. It's 400 a month. If you want to pay a week, a daily, no problem. We've seen that people really like, we thought that we do, be the choices, but we've seen people subscribing monthly, and yeah, I think so. To cut this, I think I've really exploited much in that very quick presentation. So Rachel, I want to really thank you and redirect everyone to our website. We've tried to do everything we can to make sure that people understand the value of data for their businesses. And this is why we even started Twitter Spaces to help people generally understand why data is important. And then we've also, we have a lot of resources on our website, as you can see here. So it will tell you everything. So, how you can use data to streamline your, how can use data to, for your financial analysis, build a financially healthy business. Also, things like, where is that? Yeah, these are all different articles explaining to you what you need to do to get started using data to make decisions. And we want to make it a really slow, not really slow, but we want everyone to understand why data and how data can help them build their businesses, even before we onboard you. So feel free to ask questions, scrutinize us, try everything until you're comfortable starting with us. And yeah, so for the Twitter Spaces, we are hosting our Twitter Spaces on Twitter every week on Friday, like today. Today, yeah, we have one at 5:30. My Twitter username is our Twitter username is finder_AI. Again, now you can share that on the chat so that people can access us. Yeah. So Rachel, I want to thank you again. And if there is anyone who has a question here, they are welcome to ask. We are ready for criticism, everything. We are ready as long as people understand the importance of data for their businesses. Yep. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you, Munene, for your presentation. I don't know whether there are any questions. The floor is now open to anyone with a question. This could be directed to Findo or to any other presenter. Okay. Yes, I see Nancy has raised her hand. Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay. Hope you are able to hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm Nancy from Fiddler's Ventures Limited. And my question, I did not actually understand very well about the influencer. If at all I can get some direction towards the host or the speaker, I will appreciate so much. Then about navigating the digital aspect of Lisa, I think maybe I just need a physical meeting. If actually I can get a physical meeting with them, I really appreciate so much so that I can, when I'm actually seeing it, I'll know how far I can ask the question and how equipable it is. I'm just a new person in the industry. I'm just a new founder and really needs direction. So if I can get the contacts and just visit them physically, go there and have conversations with them and get the insight, because it has been an insightful presentation here, but I'll have to take another step of going to meet them. Kindly, if that can happen, I'll appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. The WOWSY team and Finder team, please just type on the chat your contact email just so that Nancy can get in touch with you or any other participant. Yeah, Paul, go ahead.
I hope you can hear me. So my name is Paul. I wanted to ask 2 questions to one of the influencers and the finder. Like now on WOWSY, I do real estate, so I sell houses. You see, if you're going to have an influencer in terms of food, cosmetics, beauty, that's okay. But now how do you get an influencer when you're selling houses in terms of real estate? That is one. Also 2, on Finder, how do I use your app in terms of my real estate business? Because again, if you're doing a hotel, somebody's a repeated customer. So you can be selling, you have a new product, you can be sending SMSs. But I mean, from another perspective, you just rented out a house. Then you still I can't keep on bombarding you with messages. You need to rent another house. You need to, I mean, how do I work around that, especially if you're selling goods like houses or maybe even a car? If you buy a car, the next time maybe you're buying a car is like 4 or 5 years. How do you leverage on the 2 platforms? Thank you. And also, please share with us the recorded versions for some of us who are late. Please, thank you.
Okay, I don't know whether there's any other question before we move, we close the Q&A session. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Okay, I don't see any other question. So maybe the WOWSY team, I see they're responding on chat. Are you responding to Paul's question? Maybe you can briefly just respond to Paul's question on how they can take advantage of WOWSY if they're in real estate, very briefly.
Okay, so Paul, so we have influencers in according to their interest. So people in real estate, we have people who are thought leaders. So think of your Caroline Toku. So when you're like filtering, just real estate, those particular are the ones who are going to pop up. I hope I've answered you.
Okay. Yes, Munene, maybe just very briefly on how they can, whether they can be able to use Finder for real estate.
To Paul, our platform currently handles people with recurring customers, such as restaurants and supermarkets and retail stores generally. But for your case, we've worked with a client before. We built them a platform to help them first vet their clients using AI and data and their previous tenancy reports. So we can do something for you, definitely. Just talk to us via the numbers on the chat box.
Okay, thank you, Munene. So for anyone else with a question or feedback, we'll be posting on the chat box a feedback form where you can directly reach out to us if you need any contacts or any connection to either of the presenters. You can also reach out directly to them through the emails that they have provided. Other than that, I believe we've come to the end of today's session. Yeah, other than that, I believe we've come to the end of the session today. Glad having you here and having an insightful conversation. Feel free to give us your feedback so that we can know how to tailor these conversations better for the next meetings. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.